Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Ravens YouTube channel, Talking Ravens all day, every day with your host, Justin P. And my wonderful co-host, Shannon. Shannon's definitely officially a co-host now. AJ and Cam are still around, but they got that, they got their own stuff going on. They'll pop in there every now and then. So
Hmm.
majority of the time, you're going to see me and Shannon. So, we're going to be off some good stuff. Episode 29. You can check it out YouTube, audio podcast, Google Podcasts, Pandora, basically anywhere you get your podcast and major stuff. The links are in the description. And we took a little hiatus so we can, gather some information on some draft prospects and stuff like that. So, we're gonna share our mock drafts and then we're gonna get a little bit into the Todd Monken stuff, and just talk about the Ravens in general, like what in our opinion, what they need to do to help this team get back in championship aspirations. So before we kick it off, Shan, anything you want to say?
No, I'm ready. Ready to talk Ravens again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Well, Shannon, you can go ahead and go first with your mock draft. The one that you did so far, and just explain your picks and stuff like that. So, floor is yours.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said, this first time I just went with the five draft picks that we had, right? So, my number 22 pick is Zay Flowers, a wide receiver from Boston College. I feel like everybody is saying that we need a wide receiver, and I feel like we need it can happen in the draft, which I would prefer, but we might need a more veteran. But for draft purposes at that moment, I feel like he would be a good pick in the first round. I have the 86th pick. We have Mozzie Smith, a DT from Michigan.
Okay.
I feel like our front defensively we need to get younger, most importantly younger and faster. And I feel like he could probably help us out in that way. At 124, I have Mike Morse, edge rusher from Michigan. We've been looking for a pass rush since Terrell Suggs left. When I saw the two Michigan guys and they were available at those picks, I felt like they know our defensive coordinator's system or what he would like to do. So those would be good fits for us defensively because even though they could be new and be young guys, they're also guys who are familiar with the coach. So that could benefit us with learning the system and learning how he likes to do things. Um, at 150, I picked Zach Pickens, a DT from South Carolina. Again, I just feel like we need to get strong up front. It's never you can never have too many. Just like offensive linemen, I don't feel like we can ever have too many. When you look at the Eagles and how they were rotating guys in and out, I would love to be able to have something like that up front. And at 199, I picked Javon Gwynn, an offensive guard from South Carolina. I always feel like we do really good picking offensive linemen. I don't know what's going to happen with. I think it's Ben Powers that's a free agent this year.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at it like it's a need, it's a possible need, and he could probably help us. Now my how I went about picking who I chose after Zay Flowers, what I started to do was look at their rankings. And as I explained to you, Justin, as time goes on, I'll start digging in more about each guy in particular positions that are available and needs for us. But that's basically how I picked everybody after Zay Flowers. I just looked at their rankings at this moment and picked like based on who was higher at that point. So how we say right player, right price. It was more or less just like the right player at the highest ranking player on our board. That's how I looked at it. So this first mock draft is not a whole lot of thought into it. I just did it. But most I had thought into Zay Flowers. After that, it was more or less just how they flowed. But I'm looking forward to doing more of these and hopefully next time I'll get some trades in.
I, I actually like his mock draft. Like I said, Zay Flowers is a guy I'm high on. I do want a bigger receiver, but if we
Hmm.
get a small receiver, he will be the perfect role because he's like a mixture of Hollywood Brown and Antonio Brown. He's a mixture.
Hmm.
He got traits from both of them. He got AB aggressiveness, he has Hollywood explosiveness, and AB's route running in hand. So
We
I
need that.
definitely huge on Zay Flowers. So I like that. And then Mozzie Smith, what's the name? Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
Hmm.
3 3 or 5 technique. He like I think I want to say like 295. So he can stop the run. Like you said, last camp, even though he's coming back, this is
Hmm.
like he's not going to come back after this. So
Right, right.
trying to rotate with Meta BK and Broderick Washington, those guys like that. Like you said, to keep the rotation going on the interior defensive line. So I like that as well. Mike Morris, he's a little heavy for an edge rusher. He's like 290, but I think he can come off the edge. But our trainers can get
Get
him.
them down. Yeah.
So, and which is good. He reminds me of a Courtney Upshaw. He can stand up.
Mm.
Play
And
good.
I like Courtney Upshaw. I really like him.
Yeah. So because he's strong. He's big enough where he can play inside. He's athletic enough where he can play outside. But to probably cover tight end and stuff, he will probably have to lose probably like 15, 20 pounds. Because in our 3-4 system, the linebackers don't just rush. They got to
Right.
drop back, cover the tight end. So he might have to shave a little bit of weight off, which he had plenty of time to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, like you said, the guard, that was a good pick, because like you said, Ben Powers is going to be, he's probably going to cash out in free agency.
Mhm.
And, he's unable to stay in shape. I'm going to say healthy in shape. He's been in Harbaugh's doghouse. And then you got Patrick McCarry. He can probably be that guy to slide in there, but you like him as a versatile swing guard, swing tackle.
Mhm.
Those, like I said, all your picks were basically pretty good picks. So, All right, here go the first of my two that I'm sharing today. Pick 22. I want receiver as well. I took Jordan Addison out of USC.
Mhm.
Yeah, go get him, man. Go get him. He was in Pittsburgh at first. He's putting them numbers over there with Kenny Pickett and all those guys. He transferred to USC, because he signed a big NIL deal. He's over there with Caleb Williams. He's the big reason why Caleb Williams won the Heisman. Won a
Mm.
12 or 1,275 yards receiving for like 10, 11 touchdowns and like 98 catches. So he had a really, really good year. Uh,
Mhm.
6'1", 185 pounds. My player comp for him is a guy we just watched in the Super Bowl, Devontae Smith.
Mm.
Same similar build, so that's a good comp. He was a triple crown, he was a Heisman Trophy winner. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
I think Jordan Addison would be a good fit here. Him and Bateman and everything. Like I said, Zay Flowers wouldn't be a bad fit either, but Zay Flowers was already picked on this one I did. I think he went to the Packers. But
Okay.
I think I got Jordan Addison at 22. At number 86, I got Wooden. Yeah, edge rush out of Auburn. Like you said, we got a Daffy Owe. He's like I ain't ready to get rid of him yet, but he do got to be more productive
Mhm.
quarterback. He's great against the run. He sets the edge and all that stuff like that. But we need more sacks out of him. When we take you in the first round, we need more sacks. So we knew it was going to
Mhm.
be progress. Work in progress because he didn't have the sacks his senior year, but he had a lot of quarterback hurries and hits. Jabo, we've seen a little bit out of him and a little action he did play. He caused a fumble and all that. So we've seen, and he knows his defensive scheme, so he
Mhm.
pick it up. Then you got Bowser. He's gonna be fully healthy now. He was, dealing with the quad and all that last year. So you
Mhm.
get a guy like Walton who played in the SEC, who get some of the best linemen, and he was able to rack up 9.5, 10 sacks, I believe. But 6'5", 6'6", 260. Good size, good typical edge, outside linebacker size. So you add more depth there. Cause like I said, I don't know if JPP is back. I doubt it. Justin Houston, they may give him one more little, cheap deal. It depends on
Mhm. I would like him back.
same here. So because he had 9.5, 10 sacks, so he's the leading sack leader. So to get some more depth along the edge rusher right there, and then he'll be on a rookie deal, so you don't got to spend a lot of money there. So and I like
Right.
it. Play with his hands, and he's good against the run. Number pick 103. Did a trade. I think I traded Queen to the Bears to get this pick, if I'm not mistaken. Wide receiver 8.
What?
Yeah. That reason being because eventually you can't pay him and have Roquan Smith making the number he making. It's just not going to work.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So why not get a decent pick for him? I took A.T. Perry out of Wake Forest, big receiver, 6'5", I believe, 220. He had a not phenomenal senior year, 110 catches, 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns. Like, Wake Forest was a pretty solid team this year. So like they can stretch
Mhm.
big possession receiver. The only knock I seen on him is his run blocking. But,
Mhm.
he'll adapt to that, but the kid can put the ball in the end zone. That's what we need. All right. Pick 118. I think another trade. I think I traded Chuck Clark to somebody. I think the Falcons to get this pick.
Oh.
Caillou Blue Kelly, cornerback out of Stanford, 6'2". 195 pounds, good size. Like I said, Marcus Peters might not be back, depending on his asking price. You know,
Mhm.
we need to go ahead and get another outside corner. We got Armin Davis, who will go up and down this year. But he's a rookie, so another year in his belt, he'll be good. Then Marion Williams, Pepe, yeah, Brandon Stevens, they signed Trayvon Mullen, Lamar's cousin. I guess that was like a little move to try to keep Lamar happy.
Mhm.
Young solid corner. I don't like I said, Cal Fuller just had a serious injury, so I doubt he would be back. So you're possibly losing 2 to 3 corners. So that's why I got him going Kelly Blue Kelly right here, man. His tape was phenomenal. I think he had about 4 interceptions this year. And he
Mm.
does attack with a run game. He plays like a Raven. Like for us, you gotta come up attacking. You gotta be physical. You're not just gonna sit there
Yeah.
and think you're just gonna get a bunch of interceptions, pass deflection. You gotta get physical. You gotta come get you gotta get your hands.
Mhm.
118, 125, another corner. Jartavius Martin out of I want to say Illinois. Yeah, 6'3". So yeah, I'm pulling big corners because in this league you gotta have big corners.
You gotta have corners. Yeah.
6'6". I mean, don't get me wrong, the small nickel guys can do their job, but you got
I
somebody that
like big corners.
when you go
Yeah.
against Mike Evans and those guys, you gotta be able to jump and win those contested ball. Because no matter how good
Mhm.
you can't jump up there and contest the breakup. It's just you're in a lose. So I got
Mhm.
25. So at 159, they got the replacement for Patrick Queen, Henry Tutu, linebacker out of Alabama. Go sideline to sideline, take on blocks. He's good in pass coverage. Like I said, playing in the SEC are basically like playing in the NFL, kind of sort of.
Mhm.
Playing against a one drafted on Sunday or won't be playing on Sunday. So another Alabama linebacker. We've done pretty good with those guys so far coming in.
Yeah.
A couple other guys. So he'll him and Malik Harrison will compete for the Mike linebacker spot. And then pick 200. This was a luxury pick because I don't know what's going to happen with Break and Justice Hill. Christopher
Mhm.
Robinson Jr., running back out of Kentucky, 5'11", 225 pounds. He had 1,300 yards. He had like 10 touchdowns, averaging 6.2 yards a carry. Like I said, in the SEC, pretty good. Like I said, hopefully he gets a shot because I know I was real high on Tyler Beatty last year. They didn't really give him a shot. He ended up going to Denver. So
Mhm.
that round off my mock draft right there. The first good second. So
That's
any of these picks
what.
you want that I make?
No, I like all your picks, and I'm actually more intrigued with the trades, Chuck Clark and Patrick Queen, because those could really happen.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
Um,
I try to make it as realistic trades as possible. I mean, not saying that trading Martin
and
ain't
you
worth.
know what? And the way you explained it, like I like Queen, so I wouldn't want to lose him. But the way you explained it makes perfect sense, and then the way you explain his replacements make even more sense. I mean, we already have Malik Harrison here. Then you draft somebody, let them compete. Yeah, I mean, because like you said, we won't be able to pay both of them, unfortunately, because our priority number one needs to be we all know who.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, in the running back pick, like I said, you got just only running backs that are guaranteed to come back is J.K. and Gus. Saying you
Mhm.
still third guy that got the first wheel. Both of them, been fighting injuries for the last 2 years. So like I said, Justice Hill and Kenyon Drake may be somewhere else. So you bring in Christopher Rodriguez, he can play special teams, backfield, and he's a home run hitter. So that's why that's a bit of luxury pick right there.
Mhm.
And like in the two corners, like I said, Marcus Peters and Kyle Fuller, Kavon Seymour, them guys not gonna be back. They re-signed Daryl Worley, but that's more so gonna be for special teams.
Different that, yeah, and the Lord death.
So you bring in Caillou Blue Kelly and Jartavius Martin, both of them compete for playing time, two big corners. So now when you play the Bengals and Browns and Steelers with all those receivers, these guys can come in there and contribute and hold their own.
Mhm.
All
You're
right,
right.
the second mock draft, number 22. I went with Jordan Addison again because all the our best receivers are already taken off the board.
Mhm.
Four went with Cam Smith, the big corner out of South Carolina. He's 6'4", 215 pounds. He only gave up one touchdown this year. Yeah,
Mm.
but receptions, beast. He's a beast. He's a flat out beast. Number 86, I went with Kobe Wooten again, edge rusher out of Auburn. 103, I went with Ivan Pace Jr., linebacker out of Cincinnati, to replace Patrick Queen. I think I got this pick again to do with trading Queen again.
Mm-hmm.
On the sideline. That defense is pretty fast. He's like 6'1", 6'2", 245 pounds. Good inside linebacker size. Actually the same size as Paul Smith. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
outside each other for a couple years. And like I say, he'll be on a rookie deal, so he'll be cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Round four, Trey Palmer, wide receiver out of Nebraska. Kid 6'2", 205 pounds. You know, he can go get the ball. He's a DB turn receiver. Played DB his first 2 years. His last 2 years played receiver and had over 2,800 yards in the last 2 years. Go
Mm-hmm.
get it. Nebraska quarterback situation wasn't the best, and their team wasn't that good, so that's why he's falling down the radar. But he's definitely been a good day 3 still. And number 59 for the fifth round, Jared Patterson, guard out of Notre Dame, because like I said, Ben Powers is going to probably hit free agency.
Mm-hmm.
And he could play tackle too, because I doubt if Jawan James will be back, especially dealing with his injuries. So you can slide him at guard or at tackle, so you both set it off, which is already a good offensive line. So
Mm-hmm.
200, luxury pick right here. Went with cornerback Darrell Luther Jr., South Alabama. Small school, but it's big, another big corner, 6'1", 6'2". He had about 5, 6 interceptions. He went to the same. Him and Jalen Tolbert that the Cowboys drafted. They were on the same team. So they always produce solid D2 draft picks in the NFL. So that'll round up those two right there. So just any other prospects on your mind that we probably didn't pick down mock draft that I could see us getting no matter the round.
No, I told you, like I haven't really even been into it like that because when Super Bowl just ended. I haven't been looking into all the play. I usually get into it around Combine, which is what, next week.
Yeah.
So I'll have more opinions for you for sure next week. But like for me, the draft is always hard because you can go into a draft and think about your needs, but then other times you do got to think about it like when you mentioned trading the players. I just went into it like I'm not trading anybody. I'm just going into it, making the picks that we have and thinking about needs at that point. But now you have me thinking like, shoot, maybe we do need to get rid of some people. I don't want to, but maybe we need to. Like because like you mentioned a few times in your picks, they'll be on a rookie contract. So if we can have more guys on rookie contracts, that could help us out with making sure that other guys can get their money now. And then you're not worrying about paying them until another, the way we do business, it might be 5 years before they get their next deal. So next week I'm gonna have more opinions for you. But like I said, my picks was just based on who was ranked as the best at that point and what I felt like was needs for us. So that's why I just went wide receiver, defensive tackle, and offensive guard and an edge rusher because I think those are needs for us. I don't even did you have any defensive linemen?
Not in these
Okay,
two.
okay,
Of course, I got, yeah. Like I said, each week I'm gonna give about like
do
two.
something different. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
the reason I ain't have him in this one because we got about 4 guys that we can feel comfortable going to the year where we always pick up undrafted guys that come out of nowhere and
Hmm.
Harris and a couple other guys. So we'll always find some depth there. Like that's one position we'll always find some hidden gems in. Then, like I said, we got Calais for at least this year. So
I just want to get. I want to get to a point where we can have like another Nagata, Brandon Williams, like somebody that we draft and we see them become what we need them to be. So that was my mindset with picking them there. But we'll see. We have weeks to until the draft to see what which way we go. And we might. I might change my mind next week.
true. But the same constants from both our draft receiver. Like
Definitely.
it's like we can't keep like we've invested on the defensive ball a lot, which is okay.
I'm
But
just so scared for them to draft the wide receiver because they don't seem to be able to do that. Like every wide receiver we get, whether they lack talent, whether it's lack of opportunity, or they can't stay healthy, we don't do right when we draft them. So I kind of was about to not pick a wide receiver first, but I was like, no, we need it. We need a wide receiver.
agreed. Hollywood was the first productive. People say they want
I
about
like Hollywood. I liked Hollywood. I was upset that he left.
each year his numbers went up. Yeah, he did have a little bit of drops, but like I said, he went from
How would you feel if he was the veteran wide receiver that they brought back? I mean, she's a free agent, right?
No, they picked up his 5th year option, so he's gonna
Did
be.
they? Oh, okay.
That's
Well,
why
never mind.
not gonna be that great right now. We going because we want to take Marquise. He's younger. You got the PED little stuff going on. You know, you still can play for sure, but you 30, you about to be 31. So yeah, they're gonna because they got Robbie Anderson, him, and Rondell Moore. They're gonna build through them three, and then
Okay, I forgot that. I didn't even. I probably didn't even know that they picked up his 50 option. So never mind.
yeah. So that's why D Hop is gonna be out of there. So D Hop's gonna probably at the most they can get for him now is probably like a second. If they would have traded him last year, they would have got a first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's that. But the thing with that, with picking receivers, I think it's I don't know. Like I said, Hollywood he was okay. Bateman shown he can play, but you said the injury bug. Rashad Penny
Mm-hmm.
he had the talent. He just was never healthy. Like what he did was healthy. He made plays. Remember the one hand catches
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Steve Smith last year before he retired. Steve Smith was raving about him all year, man. Wait till this kid is healthy.
I like Marlon Brown too. Remember him? He
Yeah,
came in as a rookie, and then it just like he just went away.
yeah, he was undrafted, so he don't really count far as that. But yeah, he was a solid guy for a year too. Then he fell off. Kamar Aiken, remember he went off that one year when everybody got hurt. Yeah, Joe got hurt.
Hmm.
He had 1,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't do nothing. And he went.
and I like Torrey Smith too. I wasn't happy when he left, but
Yeah, he's probably the best receiver that we drafted.
yeah, I would say that.
So, right, I would honestly just.
And I think that Hollywood could have been better than him, But I do believe that it was about the scheme and all of that, and that's why he didn't want to be here anymore. But I think Hollywood had the potential to be better than what we felt Torrey Smith was.
I agree. I totally
So,
agree. Because he had to run block a lot. He only 5'9", 185 pounds. You can't have him out there
hmm
the same size as DK Metcalf and those guys. You got to utilize him better. So I just think he should have just been a little patient. You know what I mean? Just dug
oh
it out.
yeah.
Because now he would have been in a better situation with Todd Monken, which we're going to talk about in a second. You know,
I
but
never really understood why he was so upset because he got 1,000 yards. Like you were getting the ball, you was getting targets. So what were you? That's how I knew it was about the scheme, not necessarily about not getting the ball because he was getting it.
yeah. He said,
You
because
know.
I'm an athlete, quote unquote, he said, man, they gave it to me, but just like it was like forced to me. We will be from behind when we know the team, know we got to pass, like stuff like
Mhm.
that. When more balance, more balance.
Mhm.
More, he said I had 1,000 yards, but it was like he said it was like a phony 1,000 yards. He said I should have had like 15, 1,600.
Well, to have that, you gotta be on the field too, and your quarterback gotta be on the field. Lamar still missed games that Hollywood's last year. Hollywood missed games, so a lot goes into it. But I wish him well, down in Arizona. But I wasn't happy that I was shocked by that trade last year. Like, whoa.
How kind of shot?
The writing should have been on the wall when we saw them all working out with Bateman and them, and Hollywood wasn't there. And at that point, I didn't think much of it, but I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah,
why he wasn't there.
they finding a suitor for him because he must have said like he must have said something behind closed doors. And what you've been asking for a trade for 2 years now, then this
Yeah,
little rants didn't help either. So I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, listen,
yeah. It is what it is.
yeah. But all right, let's get into this new offensive coordinator. He just had his introduction and all that. Uh, let's talk about the hiring of Todd Monken, and that'll be it for today. And Thursday we'll come back with the whole show Thursday, so everybody,
um,
that's gonna be good. But go ahead, you can start first.
what I'll say is that he was the one offensive coordinator that I was like, no, thank you. Like, how when we were always sharing different things and they were talking about all the interviews, I was like, no. My reason for saying no, and it's no offense to him, was that I felt like he was older. I felt like I wanted somebody who would be younger and new, and then bring in different things and just be creative. Like that's how I felt. I didn't really know much about him as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. So when I looked into it, I saw he was the offensive coordinator on the Browns, and I believe it was the Bucks that I saw. And then I started listening to the radio, and everybody was talking about him and the different things they were saying, and everything just sounded like an excuse when they were talking about why he didn't succeed in Cleveland and why he didn't succeed with the Bucks. And then they talked about how well he did in Georgia. I know how much talent they have in Georgia. So when you have a team full of talent, that makes your job a whole lot more easier. However, now that he's signed, right? I'm not the type of fan that's gonna go in like I ain't want him. I'm not doing it. He's our coach. It is what it is. I want him to succeed because I want us to succeed. Hearing his press conference today was so refreshing. I don't care if people say it was coach talk. He said everything that I felt like needed to be said as far as what he wants to do offensively. We know how great our run game is. He made it clear that he's not looking to change that aspect of our offense. He's been looking at the players in different schemes and trying to figure out different ways he can utilize the guys. I like hearing that because we've all talked about this even during the season. Like, is it the coaching? Is it the players? Is it the lack of opportunities? Then you see certain situations and the guys ball out. So we like, what is it? He sounds like somebody that's not going to hold anybody back. He sounds like somebody that's going to use all his weapons, um, that he has at his disposal. It sounds like he wants to work with Lamar Jackson. He speaks highly of Lamar Jackson and what he thinks Lamar can do as a quarterback, not just running, but also the passing ability. So he probably can give Lamar some tips that Lamar may not have been getting over the past 5 years. I think that's something new, refreshing for everybody offensively. And one thing he said today that I really, really appreciated was him saying he said something along the lines of being a balanced team doesn't mean you have to be 50% run and 50% pass. I take that more as like finding a balance in it all. Let's do everything. We don't have to always run to set up the pass. Sometimes we might pass to set up the run if it calls for that in that moment. Let's do something to be creative and do things that people aren't going to expect. Let's get Likely and Mark Andrews on the field at the same time if we can. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I haven't been this excited about an offense, our potential offense, since Gary Kubiak, because I felt like when he got hired, I knew he was going to bring in something that would benefit Joe Flacco, and that was the best year Joe Flacco had. And even though Lamar has had an MVP season with Greg Roman, and I'm not one to diminish that because he got that with Greg being his offensive coordinator. I feel like if something with something new and fresh and something the league has not seen from us, that could benefit Lamar too, and also make him allow him to be MVP again, or at least a candidate, be in the conversation because we all know Lamar's one of one. But we talk about what he can't do. We know that there's a lot of things that he can do that other people can't do. He's a special talent. So I want us to play to that. I don't want us to hold him back. So whatever Lamar needs, I hope that when it's time, him and the OC can get together. It's like they got the rules and they can't really talk before particular times of the year. But I hope that he's all in, and Thursday. One of the main things I want to talk about is Lamar and his contract because that's something that we've all been wondering and thinking about. But I just feel like that's priority number one. I feel like if Lamar's not signed and we going into the season and we going into the draft and we going into training camp and he not here, that might be a bad look because he might not show up, right? But we can get into more of that on Thursday. But as far as the offensive coordinator is concerned, I was against them initially. I'm over it. Like I'm over the upset part of it. Like I'm not mad. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to the season. I'm excited for what he may bring. And like I said, today he got me excited. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do for us.
Well said, Shannon. Me personally, I didn't. I wasn't my top choice either. I was like, if I said if we were to hire him, I wouldn't be too upset because he's been in the league. He has had experience as a play caller, which is a plus. But being 60 something years old, who's to say in 2 years from now, like, okay, all right, I'm ready to
Right.
hang. I want to go home and spend time with grandkids, stuff like that. Or
Mm-hmm.
help, like you saw with Kubiak. So a younger coach, he'll be around for a minute. But the thing with a younger coach, if he does a well enough job, somebody's going to pluck him from it. So
Of course.
both has its pros and its cons, but I'm just glad they made the high. Now you can get into your game planning and stuff like that. But Todd Monken, like I said, Georgia definitely team was loaded from top to bottom. That's why I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Hamburger team. Although their team was loaded, I did go back and watch the national championship game. He did dissect TCU apart with his play calling. Because TCU,
Mm-hmm.
although it might not seem like it because of the outcome of the game, TCU
Mm-hmm.
TCU had 45 to 5. Georgia had 60, so it's not a big back. It's not a big separation from
Mhm.
5 more. So both of them were equally talented. It's just Todd Monken game plan just picked them apart. It was just a real bad game. They just got out of hand. They just couldn't recover. So I think
Mhm.
that game would be a whole lot. So it was just one of those. They was just the moment was just a little too big for them, and then just Georgia by them being back to back. National being there year four, they can
Yeah,
do
they knew what to do.
TCU had the channel with a lot of stuff, and they made too many mistakes, and it just, like I said, they just got out of hand. So,
Mhm.
but his play call, he definitely took what they gave. They gave him the run. They ran the ball right down their throat. They used the tight ends, Washington and the other guy, I forgot his name, 8 or 84, picked him up,
Mhm.
went up top with the play action. He had Stinson Bennett looking like he was going to be the first overall pick. And we know this kid might not even get drafted. So I had to go back and read and do my due diligence. I'm like, okay, all right. I said,
You
we
could see it.
better receivers here than he had there. And then, like I said, and Lamar is 20 times better than Stetson Bennett. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So I like my optimism. I think he's going to do a pretty good job. Especially like if we go get a deal because we draft for, say, Flowers or Jordan at four.
Mhm.
Richardson, Jackson Smith, and Jibba, whoever we get, any one of those guys, Josh Downs in the second round, whoever, what's it, Cedric Tillman, any of those guys, Jay,
Mhm.
any of those guys, it'll make life easy, especially with Duvernay and Prochet. I don't know if he's gonna be here or not, but definitely,
Mhm.
and then you got your tight ends, Andrews likely, and Charlie Kolar. I think he's going to be pretty good now. And you got a mean O line. You got two solid backs. So he got everything at his disposal. He can't be no worse than Greg Roman. So,
Oh, definitely. And,
so
something else, something he said today, and I appreciated it. He said it was a question asked of him, like, do you feel pressure or something along those lines? And he said, I felt pressure the last 2 years at Georgia. Like, it's pressure when you're expected to win. It's pressure when you can't lose more than 2 games. You know what I mean? Because if you do, then you're probably out of the contention of even being a champion.
yeah,
So I think that him having the experience, even with failure, I always say it's always a lesson and a loss, right? So even if something bad happens, if you can learn something from that, you can always move forward in a positive way. And I'm pretty sure that he's learned from whatever he did with the Bucks, whatever he did with Cleveland, whatever he did with Georgia. And I'm pretty sure those aren't his only coaching experiences. But I feel like now he can come in and be like, okay, I'm gonna do things like this, kind of versus how he may have done it before. And also, we do have to look at the organizations that people are in. You know what I mean? Like the Browns are just trash. Like they're not a good run organization. They haven't been for a long time. And I believe that Freddie Kitchens was the coach when he was the offensive coordinator. I think that was the head coach then,
it was Freddie
because
Kitchen.
Odell was there, right? And Bissell Baker was there. Yeah, that was a mess. That whole situation was a mess. So I'm excited. Like I said, he has me ready and excited. And the next part of what I want to say, I'm going to save it for Thursday, but it has to do with wide receivers. And that's I saw someone put up the stats of, I think it was like Odell, Mike Evans, like the people
Yeah,
that played under him.
receiver in his offense. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. So just a teaser for Thursday, I want to discuss some wide receivers because that's going to be very important to our success. Though I think that, like I always say, I may have been one of the few that were high on our wide receiver core. Like I'm not that down and think that they're totally scrubs. I just felt like they didn't always get the opportunity. You see somebody come in for one play, and they on the side right after that. Like I don't like stuff like that. So hopefully he can just be a little bit more creative. And like you said, he can't be any worse than Greg Roman. And I don't want to keep saying negative things about Greg Roman because we did have success with Greg Roman being a running backs coach, being our offensive coordinator. The problem is it got stale. The same thing that happened with the 49ers, the same thing that happened with the Bills. He can definitely come in and do great things for an organization with a young team or a mobile running type of quarterback. But it was time for us to graduate to something new, you know? And like we said, Thursday, I'm definitely want to get into some things pertaining to our quarterback and the wide receivers.
Yeah, well said. I'm gonna just say this and we'll wrap it up. So like good stuff. Yeah, like I said, Todd Monken, like Baker definitely had his best year under him, stat wise. Jameis threw for 5,000 in his offense. This is not his fault. Jameis threw the ball to the other.
Don't do Jameis like that. Don't. He had to get LASIK surgery. He couldn't see.
Yeah, yeah. Stop. grabbing people by the, you know what, but for the Uber drivers and all, he had to get a little bit of chore. But yeah, but Monken, like I said, all his quarterbacks and receivers always put up good numbers. So that definitely leaves me some room for like, okay, this can work. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. Like, but you know, as I said, everybody, I know, yeah, like I said, we want to keep our shows at a decent time. We don't want to be here 2 and 3 hours. You know, people got to work.
Hmm.
So between 35 hour, that's how be our show. So tomorrow, tomorrow Thursday, Shannon, she basically going conduct the show. I'm just gonna be here. I'm gonna be the assistant. So
I like that.
yeah, we roll up out of here.
Bye. See ya. I don't have anything to say. I'm looking forward to Thursday because that's when I'm gonna have a lot to say.
Oh yeah, well, you running the show, so I'm just gonna be here too. We Scotty Pippen that day, which is fine. But all right, everyone, make sure y'all like, subscribe, share. You know, all the links right there in the description for the audio version for people that can't watch it visual. So make sure y'all trade talking Ravens all day from your host Justin P, my co-host the lovely Miss Shannon Finch. We'll see y'all Thursday, six
See ya.
p, and we out. Peace,
Bye, Justin.
Shannon.